I was terrified at that point because it wasn't until we had the internal images that we really knew like how bad it actually was.
Can you describe a little bit more about what those further investigations, like what actual tests were you doing?
I had my first kind of internal scan. I guess people would describe it as having an internal investigation, but also at the end they have a camera on that. So it's an internal examination. It can feel a little bit uncomfortable. Obviously, at the time I was suffering with a lot of pain, so it was a very uncomfortable kind of examination that they did. And they take a video, they capture the images, and then they got sent back to my GP to be looked at. And I'm so glad I went because they were able to pick up on quite a large amount of mass that was going on within kind of my internal area. And I think I had several of those internal scans done. And this was going on over a period of a year. And then it was at that point, my GP reviewed me again, sat me down and said, look, this is what we found. We're not entirely sure how long it's been there for, but I think you're really at a point now, given your age and how long you've been suffering and how many times you've been back to the GP, that you really need to push this forward and we need to do this at a pace. I was terrified at that point because it wasn't until we had the internal images that we really knew like how bad it actually was. She read out some of the results to me and I had a large mass the size of an orange, like a small orange, on one side of my ovary. And it was the right ovary. We don't know how long it's been there for, but we think it's linked to the endometriosis. So we don't know if it's nasty or not, but we need to have a look. I remember saying on the phone, what does this actually mean? Okay, I hear what you're saying, but what does that mean for me? And I've always been a very maternal person. I always wanted to be a mum. So when she started saying to me, endometriosis, your head starts to spiral a bit, thinking worst case scenario. And I said to her, okay, so once I have laparoscopy and they remove it or whatever needs to be removed is done, it's done, right? And I remember her saying to me, it doesn't exactly work like that. And I don't think I could really understand or process the fact that this is something that you can't just fix and be done with. You can have multiple laparoscopies that can remove the endo, but it's not a total fix.